So good evening, everyone. I'm just going to give it another minute or two to give people a chance to log on, because I can still see more names popping up. It is just wonderful to see so many of you online today. I really, really do appreciate it. I can see some messages popping up. I'm not going to be able to reply to the messages and speak at the same time. My daughter has already called me out today for, Mum, you can't answer questions when you're typing on your phone. And she's got away with quite a few things that she was laughing with today, because I was just giving her lip service, because I just can't multitask. But then I'm menopausal, so hey, that's what we're here to talk about. So let's see. Right, there's quite a few of you in. So I think what we'll do is we'll start with a little bit of housekeeping whilst everyone else comes in to join. And then that will warm me up, ready for the off. So good evening. Here's just some housekeeping just to help everyone know how Zoom works and how this evening is going to work. And for those of you that aren't too familiar with Zoom, we do have a chat box. To open the chat box, you'll either see that there's a little bar at the bottom of the screen that says chat, or if not, just click the three buttons above the word more. And if you click that, then the chat should come up as an option. When you see the word more, click that, then click the word chat, and then you should be able to see the chat box. In the top of the chat box, I have already put a whole host of links that you might find useful, and I'll also be emailing these to you tomorrow, so don't worry about it too much. If you want to send a message to myself or to Julie and to Karen, then you can just pop the message in the chat box, and we will get times where we'll be able to have a quick read through, but we will take questions right at the very end. It just makes for a much smoother presentation. I think all of you are on mute. That was how it was set up, but sometimes these things have a world of their own, but I think you are all on mute. If you're not, please, could you just stay on mute? And if you want to join us by video, that's fabulous. If you're in your jammies and you want the video off, then that's fine too. I don't mind. And I'm really, really excited to see you. So thank you. Right, it's 3 minutes past 8. I think we're all pretty much in. So without further ado, I think we'll just get going. So welcome everyone to Menopause Uncovered. Oh, and I have got notes, because I just really am not going to be able to remember this or look at two screens. So bear with me. These are my notes. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Stephanie Bedford. I'm an award-winning registered nutritionist, and I'm in the UK. And I specialise in helping women through the menopause. I help them to stop menopausing and to start Meno-Living. If you would like to connect with me, all my contact details are in that little chat box there, so you can reach out to me at any time, either today or in the future. You'll also see that there's a link to my website, which is howtoeatwell.com. That's how with the number 2 eatwell.com. And it looks a little bit like this. That's my logo. And on there, you will find loads of menopause information and loads of menopause-friendly recipes too. So it can be quite a useful resource for you. Today, we're going to look at how to turn your menopause into a Meno life, and so that you can become the Meno babe you've always dreamt of being and get the most out of life again. If by the end of this event, you're ready to learn more about how menopause is affecting your body, then I've got a really cool offer for you at the end to help you. So every day I help women through a journey of discovery where we prioritise our health and we learn to take care of ourselves in midlife so that we can start to own our menopause, and also so that we can own our health. Our goal is to shape up our menopause so that we're back in control of all of our health. Today, right now, we're going to look at why this is so important to take care of ourselves. It's important because menopause is a time of biological change. It's just like when you were a teenager. And did you know there are 34 recognized different symptoms of menopause? It's an awful lot of different symptoms, and some of them are really quite surprising. So I'm going to go through a list of them and see how many of these to you are familiar. The most common one, hot flushes. Most of us experience those. Then there's the night sweats, where you've got the duvet on, and then the duvet off, and the duvet on. Irregular periods, yeah, just when you thought you could book a holiday and have the all clear, along comes a monster of a period. Mood swings. We can sometimes be really rather temperamental, can be a wonderful mix if you've also got teenagers in the house. Then there's vaginal dryness. Not a great conversation opener, that one, but the really uncomfortable part about it, it's not just to do with sex, it's also to do with just really practical things like wearing trousers that can become really uncomfortable. Then there's the decreased libido. It's not you suddenly not fancying your other half anymore. It's just that your hormones have changed and what gets you in the mood has also totally changed. There's headaches, a bit like period headaches. We can really start to experience migraines now. And then there can also be changes to your breast and breast soreness. A burning mouth, which is a really strange sensation that some ladies go through, as well as the more common joint pain. And then there's also digestive problems. So your digestive system is really guided by a lot of your hormonal changes, and that can really make an impact during menopause. And here's a weird one. Apparently, during menopause, I don't know if any of you have had this, you're more susceptible to those electric shocks, you know, when you touch things and you go, oh, yeah, really strange one. It hasn't affected me, but I don't know if anyone here has had that one. And then muscle tensions, like feeling really tight, like your muscles are really strained. That's another very common symptom for women, along with gum problems. This is now a time to really make sure that you have got a dentist and that you do see the dentist regularly and really look after your teeth. Another rather common symptom is tingling in the extremities. So that's like in your hands and your feet, or your arms and your legs, where you feel like restless legs that you just can't sort of get comfortable. And that can affect women, particularly when they're a bit tired in the evenings. Then there's good old itchy skin. There's nothing like wanting a good old scratch to make you feel particularly glamorous at this time of life. And then fatigue. I think every single woman can own up to really suffering from the fatigue. I have to confess, getting ready for today was hard work. It took a lot of organising, and I had a little nap, a sneaky nap on the sofa at 10 to 6, and I didn't even hear when the oven cake turned my dinner off, so I was absolutely out of it. So yes, it happens to the best of us, despite wanting to be full of energy and we're in the middle of doing something, we just get that feeling of overwhelm and that we're really tired. Anxiety. Now, anxiety is something that really rears itself, and it can be really difficult, particularly if you're in a career and suddenly you've kind of lost your bottle a bit at work. Things that you used to take in your stride, suddenly you're just not so comfortable with anymore. I'm normally very comfortable with presenting, and I haven't done it for quite a while, and it was hard to start this evening. It really was. It's nice to be back in the groove, but these feelings of anxiety that you might never have had before can really come to the fore at this time of life. There's good old disrupted and disgruntled sleeping, because we all get moody, and then it's even harder to sleep. And then when you're hot and you're cold, then your sleep is disrupted, so you're not getting a really good night's sleep. So then that makes you more moody, and then that can trigger the anxiety. And so sleep is a real biggie. Another one is hair loss. We can lose our hair for many different clinical reasons, but hair loss in menopause is also quite common. And then memory lapses. I had a really good memory. I used to have a fantastic photographic memory, could remember anything, and could happily present without notes. Not anymore. No way, because I can be in full flow and it can just go like that. And I've got absolutely no idea what I was talking about. And it's really quite a worry. And I know many ladies suffer in the same way. And again, with work, that can be really tricky. Because it can also be that concentration becomes really difficult for the same reasons. Another common symptom, don't worry, we're only at number 23, we've still got nearly 10 to go. There's a lot of symptoms. Another one is weight gain. So weight gain, because of all the hormonal changes, is something that's quite common for many women. And this is something that I'll talk about at a later date. Dizzy spells. I don't know if any of you have found that you can be standing doing something and you suddenly start to get all a bit woozy and lightheaded. That's quite a common menopause symptom. Along with bloated tummies, because our genes just don't do up in the same way anymore. And you think, but I haven't eaten anything, and why do I look 3 months pregnant? That's very common. Another one that is less comfortable to talk about, but there are Tenor Lady adverts on the TV, so we should talk about it more, is stress incontinence. Because although having a wee when you're laughing is something that happens, it is not funny. It really isn't funny. And it can actually make us become quite grumpy, because you can get so paranoid about, oh my God, if I laugh, I might wee myself, that you actually try really hard not to laugh. And that's not good. We want to be happy and enthusiastic. And managing stress incontinence is something that is a really important conversation with your doctor if you do suffer from that. Then there's brittle nails. Our nails and our hair, it just doesn't have the same texture as it did in our youth. And another condition that can also strike during our menopause years is allergies. So you might never have had allergies before, and suddenly they can start to pop into your life. So foods that you used to eat regularly might be quite difficult to digest, and you might become more intolerant to different ingredients. Then there's the irregular heartbeat. So a lot of women I know like to cut the caffeine because that affects the hot flushes, but it also, caffeine can give you an irregular heartbeat. So that's another symptom to be really mindful of. And I'm not sure how many of you have come across this one, but have any of you noticed that your body odor changes? So sometimes you can think, oh, deodorant wasn't working very well today, or oh, maybe I didn't wash that jumper before I wore it again. But it's actually your body changing. And one thing that can really help is switching to wearing more natural fibres. So less nylon, less viscose, and more silk and wool and cotton can make a really big difference. Even if you've got a artificial fibre jumper in winter, if you wear a cotton t-shirt underneath that, then that helps a lot with the changes in your body. Number 31, we're nearly at the end. Irritability. Oh, I have so lost my tolerance. Really, quite difficult. And I don't know where that's come from, because I was always quite chilled. And number 32, the one that that I hope everyone goes and speaks to a friend or to a medical profession about, and that's depression. The changes in the hormones, along with a lot of other things that are going on, can really make life a little bit of a struggle. And it's a really important issue to go and speak to other people. A problem shared really is a problem halved. And don't be alone, because there's lots of ladies out there who are feeling the same. And along with number 33, panic disorder, If you do get more anxious and you get more panicky, again, that is actually a symptom of menopause that is recognised. And again, you can go and seek help from your doctor for that. And the last one on my extremely long list is osteoporosis. It's hidden, but it's also very common. And I haven't got time to talk about it in detail today, but there is some stuff on my website about osteoporosis, and that's a really important condition to start taking action about as young as you possibly can, like weight-bearing exercises and making sure you're eating the right kinds of foods. We need to protect those bones so that we become strong older ladies, and that we can be really fit in later life. So here is the big fat menopause and midlife health issue. Some of the symptoms that we've talked about are also symptoms of other health conditions. And it can be very easy, because we're busy, to just dismiss those symptoms as, oh, it's just my menopause. And you might think, well, does it really matter? Yes, it really, really matters. From the bottom of my heart, it matters massively. Okay. In the same way that if you were talking to a young lady who was potentially sexually active and she'd confided in you, a period's really, really anyway, anyone here on this call go, oh, don't worry about it, just see what happens over the next few weeks, you'll be fine. But with menopause symptoms, we quite often notice something, we'll notice a change, and we'll just go, oh, it'll be all right next week, or I think I'll go to the doctor, and we push it under the carpet. And it's really important. It's really important to be aware of our changes. So there are things where we just really have to spot changes early. And again, I totally understand why we don't do it, because we're trying to do this amongst the reality of our actual lives, which include brain fog, fatigue, the mood swings, and we really are just too busy. So today, we're going to focus on this one area, and that is taking care of ourselves and putting our health first again. All the other aspects of menopause symptoms are for another time. There's so many things I could talk to you about, but you can find out more in my menopause course, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So back to today. In June, I recorded a podcast for the pharmaceutical company Pfizer as part of their Menopause Unmuted series. And I did this with my wonderful friend, Karen Haas, who's joining us today, because we had a really important story to share about the importance of taking care of ourselves and how this impacted our menopause. I've shared the recording on the website, so you can always go and listen to it there. And for those of you that were on my email list, you'll have had the link to that podcast also emailed to you. The impact of our story was that in just 1 week, 42,000 women had downloaded the podcast. And in my menopause advice in the podcast, it was greatly supported by Yale Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology and Reproductive Science, the amazing Dr. Mary J. Minkin, also known as Madam Ovary. In the podcast, Karen and I shared how we adapted life to adjust to our menopauses. And we also talked about how Karen took a career change. She wrote a book with Julie, and they are now both successful published authors. So let me introduce Karen. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Stephanie. Hello, everybody.
Thanks for joining us today. Can you share a little bit about how you met Julie and how your book was born?
You've just totally thrown me now, because I have a script of where I'm going and he's thrown a question.
Just go with it.
Oh, can I go back to my script, please?
Yes, go to your script.
It does answer.
The answer will come out.
It's there somewhere.
I can't multitask now. So I've written, thank you, Stephanie, for inviting us to this exciting event. I'm sure everyone who is experiencing any menopause symptoms will appreciate your research and advice and the fact we're talking about it. I am Karen Haas, co-author of Over the Fence. I found myself in a position after having cancer and its treatments being put into the menopause early, which was a complete shock to my body. I struggled with brain fog, flushes, mood swings, feeling really unwell, and I was finding life incredibly difficult. For me, the menopause was worse than a mastectomy. I was especially struggling at work, but luckily, a couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to take time out of our family-run opticians business that gave me the chance to concentrate on my writing.
So I'm going to jump in now. Hello, I'm Julie Martin-Jones. I also wrote Over the Fence with Karen, and it's a privilege to have been asked by Stephanie to join you all. I had an incredibly early menopause when my children were very young, brought about by cancer when I was in my 20s. It was a challenging time as my kids were little, and none of my peer group talked about the menopause. We were all too busy starting families. Fortunately, I did get through it with no disastrous consequences, and I'm here today, 30 years through the other side. So there is hope. You will get there. I was lucky enough to meet Karen very randomly when she was fitting me for new glasses in her shop. I've always had an interest in writing, and I began to write when I was very young, but never really considered it would ever become I would become a published author. It wasn't a proper job according to my parents, but meeting Karen changed all that for me.
Well, I was never going to be a writer. It's funny how life goes. Gary, my husband, bought me a laptop and told me it would change my life. Little did I know. I looked at that laptop for 6 months, opening it, closing it, and thinking I really do not know what to do with it until I woke up in the middle of the night, opened it, and started writing. We were going through a very difficult time dealing with our own business and family matters. Everything felt out of our control. But writing it down seemed to help me make sense of the chaos. It was cathartic, a coping mechanism, like brain dumping all the negativities around me. Then I would fall fast asleep, and after writing about 1,000 words or more, not remembering any of it until I read it back the next day. This went on for many months. I let Gary read my ramblings, and he said my writing was good. Although I don't feel I'm very good at English, I find reading hard, and my favourite subjects at school were maths and PE. I just put it down to him being kind. Writing for me was like running away to a different world where I could let my anger and frustrations be thrashed out on a keyboard. I was writing my own story. Each time an issue or bad experience happened, I could put it into compartments of that would make another good chapter. Julie was a patient at our optician's practice, and through dispensing glasses, we've started talking about writing. I still had all these ideas in my head and wanted to tell my story, but wasn't sure how. I needed to learn the art of writing, so I persuaded Julie to join a writing class with me. Julie and I were paired together, and we found that we bounced off each other, and it was easy writing together. This got me thinking, and so Julie and I would meet up and practice our writing skills.
As Karen said, we paired up in class and ideas just sparked between us. If you'd asked me if there was a time I would have said, would I write with somebody else? Then I would have said no. I couldn't be a co-author. My writing was too much mine. Even if it's only madness and mayhem fueled by their... Oh, sorry, I've missed a bit. Sorry, I can't read from a script. So we created our characters, and Karen and I have become quite good friends through our characters and understanding their lives and how they've impacted on our lives. Even if they've only had madness and mayhem fueled by quite different views. Over the Fence was created by Karen and I to tell the story of two women of different ages who viewed the same events in a diary form. I should say, when you write, it is quite important to write about what you know unless, of course, you like research. In this case, I'm sure Karen will agree. In fact, she must, because she once told a class of people that her character and herself weren't so different, in as much as their husbands were both professionals and she liked to drink and party just as her character Seren did. However, Seren is her own character, going through the highs and lows and complications of life. She's relatable in her insecurities and her family values. She is meant to reflect everyday life with a bit more thrown in the mix, otherwise we wouldn't have had a story. As for Clarissa, well, Clarissa is a melting pot of one of those terrible people you come across in life who is set on being as awful and disruptive as she can be, with no regard for anyone but herself. To say she has some issues is an understatement, but it's the why she behaves as she does that gives her a place in the story. Her character is intended to show that under the surface, people are not always what they appear to be. At this point, I would like to say that she is not based on any one person, but lots of characters I've encountered over the years. I'm sure the fact that she came out of my head is coincidence, and my friends and children can all relax.
Well, yeah, I really wouldn't want to cross the Clarissa in Julie. That's all I'm going to say.
It was never intended to be a book when we first set out. It was fun writing it, and we laughed and cried with our characters. They became part of our everyday life, and Clarissa was blamed for many and every uncharitable thought or rude comment about bad drivers or anything. There are no chapters, just diary entries that unfold the story, so it's designed to be an easy read and not too heavy. We suffered such a sense of loss when we'd finished the story because we'd become so involved over the 2 years of writing and wondered what to do with ourselves.
So November 2023, I went home and told Gary we'd finished the book. He asked me what our next plan was. I just shrugged my shoulders. He told me we needed to get published. Julie and I had talked about publishing, but came to the conclusion it was virtually impossible. Getting published is not that simple and rarely happens to people like us. Look at J.K. Rowling and the number of times she was rejected. But we had a publisher recommended to us, so we submitted our synopsis in November. They then arranged a Zoom meeting in December, where the opening conversation was, "Thanks for your submission. I have hundreds of submissions on my desk every month that have been filtered." So you can imagine our shock as we were offered a contract there and then to the first and only publisher we submitted to. So in January, we signed the contracts and our book was published at the end of May this year. Through experience in life, we all know there are many ups and downs. So hopefully our book will make you laugh and cry and help you realize you're not on your own. And there may be reasons why some people are not very nice at times. So through the changing career due to the menopause for myself, our first novel was written. We would like to just give you a taste of what the story is about. The diary of two women, how they view and judge life, on how one discovers a secret so well hidden it could tear both their worlds apart. Seren is happily married to a successful doctor, Bobby. With their two young boys, they moved from the south of England to an upmarket town in the north. The house they are moving to is Seren's dream home, and she is looking forward to her new life and meeting her new neighbours.
Clarissa is married to a wealthy semi-retired financial advisor, Michael. Her life on the surface appears perfect. The initial pleasure at having respectable new neighbours is soon lost when she realises they have children, and the regimented tranquility of her life is thrown into disarray. The very sight of Seren triggers in her extreme dislike and stirs up memories that she preferred not to recall. What ensues is a catalogue of confrontations that grow increasingly out of control. Each woman keeps a journal which illustrates how very differently they experience similar events and how they react to them. So here we are, 2 years, 2 months, and 85,000 words later, published authors with Fisher King.
Thank you, Stephanie, and everyone for giving us the opportunity to tell our story.
And good luck with your menopause journey, everyone. There is light on the other side, and it isn't a train coming to knock you over.
So much, Karen and Julie. Your book is such a good read. I read it in 2 days. I didn't do anything else. I just sat on the sofa and I just laughed, and I loved Clarissa. If any of you know a Clarissa or have an inner Clarissa, type your menopause story now. And if you've got any menopause stories, share them with us in the chat. We would love to hear them, and we will read out any that are put in the chat at the end when we do the question and answers. It's an absolutely brilliant read, and I can only highly recommend it. It's perfect for a winter's weekend of great reading and make a great gift. So
thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. So we're going to talk to Karen and Julie again at the end if you have any menopause stories, and we'll have a bit of a laugh later. So it's really important that what we're trying to show you today is all three of us have gone through the menopause, and we've all come out the other side different, stronger, better, but it was a journey. But we're also, Karen, Julie and myself, here today having a laugh with you all because we took care of ourselves, and all three of us did not dismiss some symptoms and put them down to menopause or skip a health screening appointment because we were too busy. And that's really my message for today when it comes to looking after your health. We're all busy. We're all busy looking after family members, after neighbours, friends, the lady in the shop that you chat to, everyone, in fact, except ourselves. And this is where menopause really comes in, because menopause is a time to reassess. It's a time to reflect and make it a time for us. If I asked each of you, how are you? Most of you would say, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. But what if I said, no, really, how are you? Tell me. Then we have a different conversation. And that's what's so important. We need to sort of champion each other and really take time to listen to our friends. Menopause is a time of our life when it is really common to have too much on your plate. I know some of you who are here this evening have got an awful lot on your plates at the moment. And we are all guilty of being in the habit of running around after others. But one of the most empowering things that you can do in menopause to help yourself and to start to take control of the cortisol effects of stress is to say the word no. Remember, you are not Superwoman. Superwoman is 25 years old. I'm all about helping you become Super Gran, the lady who can still ride a bike at 60, walk up a mountain at 70, and can shop till the teenage years. Positive, you're healthy, and you're when you leave this lifestyle and put yourself at that forefront, you'll start to notice what is happening to your body a lot more. And this helps you take ownership of your midlife health alongside your menopause. If you had children, you'll remember how health focused you were in pregnancy. You knew everything about pregnancy. Pregnancy was your whole world, your bubble. Well, you need to kind of recapture the sense again. That's kind of the stage we're at. So, in my course, Shape Up Your Menopause, which is a self-paced online course, I show you in very small steps how to improve the key aspects of your busy life to manage those menopause symptoms that you have, so that you can unpick where your health is being impacted and discover what works best for you in your life. Sometimes what works for one person isn't right for you. We all have our own lives and our own needs. And in my course, we look at the 4 cornerstones of health. We look at your exercise levels, okay? But without you having to become a gym bunny, just how much you move. We look at how to improve your sleep pattern and your stress levels, and also how to improve your nutrition, and how this can actually only be optimized if you get the exercise, the stress, and the sleep under control. Because no matter what you Google and what influencers are out there, I can tell you one thing, as a registered nutritionist with a degree in nutrition and a lot of experience, no food choices can outperform the impact of a poor lifestyle. And that's the reason why diets don't work. So, remember how you got your kids into a routine and habits, and how much easier it made motherhood. Or if you didn't have children, just think back to those structured days of your childhood, those set times in the day and those everyday habits. Well, during menopause, it's time to do this again, but for us and what we need. It's all about us now. When you work with me, I show you in a very short self-paced steps how to look at the basics of nutrition, but within the context of menopause. So how you have to eat now, really. I'm the founder and the creator of the Menopause Plate. And this Menopause Plate, and this is what I teach you. Together, we specifically look at how to maximize the nutrients that we get from our food choices and why this is specifically different during menopause. We look at how food affects mood. We look at food and breast health, food and hot flushes, food and osteoporosis, and food and fatigue, just names just a few. And we also look at the pros and cons of supplements. Everyone wants to sell you supplements when you're a menopausal woman, and you can do an awful lot without the supplements. Everything in the course is tailored so that you can adapt your choices to suit you. And once you've discovered what works best for you, we put it all together in a supported 30-day program where I help you to put your discoveries into practice. So if you would like to learn more, I am enrolling new students into Shape Up Your Menopause, and it's designed specifically to help women just like you to stop menopausing and to start Meno-Living. It's very easy, it's simple, and it's fun, and everything's online, so you just do it at your own pace. All the lessons are really short videos. You can even listen to the videos in the car as you're driving, and most videos are only 3 to 5 minutes long, so they really are short. The only thing you need to do is enroll. Once you enroll, I email you the login details so you can start straight away. There's some PDF workbooks that you can print out, and I have a private Facebook group where you can ask questions and you can also share your experiences. And in the final module, we put all our discoveries together so that for 30 days, you have a real structure of putting together all your knowledge. And there are loads of simple recipes in that final module to help you support those menopause symptoms. And all the way through, I'm on hand to support you. And we're also there to support each other, because learning from your new Meno-Babe friends is absolutely invaluable. So are you ready to shape up your menopause? I would love to help you start Meno-Living. You can enroll today, and I have a really great introductory offer. The course is packed with guides, with videos, with worksheets, with recipes, with tools, and with tips. And I worked out that if I put all the materials together for you alone and without any of my time, it would actually cost £1,347. But it's important to me that you can afford to join the programme and benefit from it. So I have heavily discounted it to match it to the cost of a weekend away with the girls at under £500. But because I want you to benefit from a lifetime of health rather than just a spa weekend, for today I've created an offer of £248.50. And yes, if for £248.50 you can get your menopause on track, just what you would spend on a dress and a hair, that this will give you a lifetime of value. Also, if you do enroll in the next 24 hours, you will also get a free copy of Karen and Julie's book, Over the Fence. The offer expires in 24 hours, and the book offer is only part of the introductory price for Shape Up Your Menopause. So, what's holding you back? Let's start Meno-Living. I'm so excited for you to join me. To enroll or to find out more, just go onto my website and just click online courses. Then there's a menopause course. Just click there, click the enroll button, and it gives you all the information. Or you could just go into the link that's here in the Zoom chat. And whilst you do that, we're going to have a look and see, did anyone give us any menopause stories? Oh, I don't look at it, you're all shy. Oh no, that means I have to tell you mine. Oh my goodness. So, right then. So this was quite early on in my menopause journey. I actually went to see the doctor when I was 42. So I had my second child at the age of 40, a little girl. And she was in her buggy while I was sitting in my doctor's explaining that I thought I was going through the menopause. And it wasn't long after that I had to go away, and I went to a conference over in Birmingham. And I knew most of the people that were at the conference, and a big group of us had gone out for dinner. I think about 20 of us had gone out. And we were in fab restaurants, and we don't see each other very often. So it was really nice, and it was really fun. And it was mainly all women, and a couple of them had their husbands in tow. And I think there were 20 of us, and we were put in the restaurant at towards the back, so we were a large group, and our table ran down the wall. So I was sitting on one of the chairs with my back against the wall. And you know what it's like, our time of life? Can't go that long without needing a wee. You can't hold your alcohol either. But I was in the middle and really stuck and really trapped. So at the end of the meal, I was like, oh God, really do need to go for a wee. So everyone was sort of faffing about in their coats, and I was like, oh, I'm really sorry. And I was sort of shuffling past. And I went to the loo. And I just didn't know what to do. I had something I didn't even know existed, and I had menopausal flooding. I had these jeans on. And it's only when I got downstairs that I thought, ah, and it was really bad. I had to tie a coat around my waist, and I just thought, well, it's going to be all over the seat. And clearly when I came back, they'd realised as I'd gone down to the toilet that something was up. And I can only say that the husbands of my friends were marvellous and kind, and being with a kind group of ladies was amazing. And then I got back to the hotel, and I was sharing with a young girl. She was only in her 20s, and we didn't know each other very well. And I have to say, we got to know each other very well that night. We bonded over dealing with my situation. And that's the reality of menopause. You know, we talk about the hot flushes, and we talk about the more obvious symptoms, but there are a lot of other symptoms that that we can go through. And this caption of irregular periods, you know, flooding is part of that. It's like you don't know it's your period, and when it comes, it is, well, it's just like you've just given birth. It's unbelievable. So it's a journey, and the more that we could be there for each other and be supportive of each other and understanding. So when someone's a bit grumpy, when they're expressing their inner Clarissa, they're probably just having a bad day. If someone doesn't look great, take a breath. I know you're busy, but you hopefully people would do the same for you, and just take those minutes to say to your friend, yeah, but how are you? Really, how are you? And take that time to make time for someone else, because now is really a time of kindness and embracing this journey that we're all going through together. We wouldn't put our teenage daughters through their periods being unprepared, yet we're still expected to sort of manage menopause very unprepared, and with a lot of Googled and a lot of hearsay to sort of help us through, rather than fact and structure. And my goal is to give you fact and structure so that you can really understand what's going on with your body. So when you do go to the doctor because something's troubling with you, you have facts, you have experience, you have an understanding of what's going on, and it does help nail things an awful lot quicker. So thank you everyone for taking part today. I really appreciate it. And tomorrow you'll get an email with this recording, so you can hear it all again. I don't expect you to remember anything with brain fog and just being generally menopausal all round. So you can play it back at your leisure and feel free to share it on with other friends who might find it useful. And that just leaves me to say, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, Karen and Julie, for joining us and telling us about your fab book. The link to buy the book is in the chat, so do have a look and at that link there. And I look forward to being able to help you or your friends in the near future to have a much better menopause and to start Meno-Living. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.